Hey everyone, Brian Ickrick here, E3 2010 coverage continues here at GameSpot. Right now I'm very happy to have Stuart Black here. We're talking about Bodycount. Stuart, welcome to the show, happy to have you here.
Hi, thanks for inviting me, great to be here.
Okay, you dropped by GameSpot offices a few weeks ago to show this game for the first time.
Yeah.
And you mentioned names to me in terms of inspiration that blew my mind. I remember Lady Gaga, I remember J.J. Abrams, I remember Alias. How do all of these things congeal into a first-person shooter?
I guess the evidence is in the eating of the pudding, right? It's all there in the build we got.
Right.
It's all about having outrageous fun with a gun, really. You know, we're going to get away from serious men in dangerous worlds and all that kind of stuff, and just lift the spirits, lighten things up a bit, you know, and just have a really good time shooting really bad guys.
One of the things you mentioned to me was that you wanted. Just what you mentioned there, you wanted to get away from the cliche of like the 80s, 90s action-adventure guy, right? What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, if I have to play another soldier in another Middle Eastern, war setting, I think I'll slip my wrists. It's great, I love those kind of games, but sometimes I want to play something else, something a little bit different, something that still has a contemporary flavor to it, but fantasizes that world.
So that sort of sets the stage for what's become Bodycount, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about this game. We talked about goals, but here we are. We're looking at it right here.
Here we go.
It looks very different.
Under a freeway in an African township. Okay. This is a fictionalized kind of oil-exploited African town. We've got some militia and some army guys that are our heroes fighting against. Our hero's a young, impetuous, hot-headed guy called Jackson Delgado, and he's been plucked out of his everyday life and thrown into this crazy kind of conflict situation by this group called the Network. Okay. He's all alone with just this crazy chick feeding him assignments and giving him tactical support.
And he's sort of trying to piece together what's happened to him,
he's trying to figure out what on earth is going on here and what his role is. He just wants to get back home. Okay. He said yes to something when he really should have said no, and he's got himself in way over his head. And now he's just like, how do I get back to the States? How do I get out of this situation? And his only route through is to listen to this girl and kind of do the things that she asked him to do and find his way through this. Find out what is this group, the Network, about? What do they want? And who are these other guys? Is this other organization called the Target? Some really crazy neo-Nazi nut jobs. Definitely evil. Definitely deserve to be put down. But just because those guys are evil doesn't mean our guys are good.
Right. And it sounds like you have I'm sure you have a long-term plan for how this story is going to go, but it sounds like you're setting things up with this game with the intent of telling a longer-form story.
Yeah, we look at it structurally as a bit like a TV show, This first game is season 1 of the Bodycount show, and we're going to introduce our characters, introduce the kind of the world setting that they're in, and then in kind of, typical fashion, the last episode is going to be a big reveal. Right. It's going to change the nature of things and all that jazz. Set things up narratively, but also gameplay-wise for the second game or the second season, where we're really going to, expand on the multiplayer component in particular.
All right. Well, right now that's another game. We're talking about the first season here. First. So, tell me about. We see things dropping off of bodies. We see lots of boats. We think fall apart. Tell me about the mechanics of this game.
So obviously our core mechanic is about ripping the world apart with your gun, It's the effect the gun has on the world when you squeeze that trigger. A lot of shredding. I want to kill whack-a-mole gameplay, That old cover mechanic of waiting for the guy's head to pop up and back down again. I'm a really impatient guy. Right. I can't be bothered waiting for that. I want to bore through that cover, rip it apart, and get at the guy behind it. Okay. I want to create my own routing through the world. You can see there, as well as all the cover objects falling apart, the walls, the structure of the world is very fragile, and you can rip through that as well. Create your own footprint of destruction through the stage.
Okay. And what are these things falling off the
stuff those guys are dropping when you're killing them, those little orbs, that's your intel. Okay. That's basically your cash in the game. A bit like the coins in Mario, Right. You're going to use that to upgrade your character, unlock new weapons, upgrade those weapons, and call in the really big guns. That's when you want to create, the really big booms, when you want to call in the little bird helicopters, your Predator drones, or little mobile gun platforms that are kind of like your pets in the game. We want this hardware to sit there with you, right over your shoulder.
That's nice. I don't think I've seen these underground. it's got a lot of different paths you can take through this,
There's
right?
a lot of different routes and choices, but a choice about how you play the game. Yeah, you can make your own route, or you can also use one of the kind of predefined routes through. There's always at least 3 or 4 ways of approaching any situation.
And I remember
so here he's going in the back way here, sneaking. Or well, he could have snuck in his way there, but they found him out.
Why sneak when you can shoot your
Why
way
sneak
through?
when you can shoot when you can Rambo it? Yeah.
Enemy AI. Tell me about that.
So our enemy AI, we're very keen on creating a sense of fuzzy logic, very analog feel to it. There's a very strong sense of perception, quite a detailed perception modeling going on with the AI. A fuzziness there again as to when they can and can't see you. We have this analog lean mechanic where you can lean up and around things. So we had to put a kind of very soft perception system on the AI to be able to accommodate that. It can't be like the orange jumpsuit syndrome, where your character's wearing an orange jumpsuit. As soon as a bit of orange is visible, the AI knows exactly where you are.
Right.
You know, we want a subtlety there.
And different enemy types too. I mean,
So yeah, we have class-based enemies. Right now, we're looking at militarized death squad soldiers here. Who holds what area territories within the world can change depending on what you do, and each faction has units unique to them. So these army guys, they have medics and also kind of commanders who are a bit like mobile snipers. If it was the militia that was holding this area, they have a character class which we call Scavengers, who can go around and scoop up your intel, and nick that intel from you. And if they collect enough of that, then they can start calling in the airstrikes against you, which is something you definitely don't want to have happen.
So they've got medics there healing one another. They're working as a squad.
They're working as a squad. Right now they're working as individuals, but eventually they're going to work as squads of 4 to 8 men. Not every member of that squad is necessarily the primary kill unit. There's usually 1 or 2 units that are they're the guys that are going to drill you. Other guys could be defensive units working to protect those guys. And then there are other guys, other auxiliary units like the scavenger, like the medic, that are providing additional support to that squad. Then there's also what we call kill chains.
Okay.
The order in which you take down the members of a squad will give you different bonuses of intel. And we don't want that to be, the one set route that gives you the best intel drop. Different combinations will give you different things of different values to them. It's not, you don't want to see this one route in the strategy guide like that's the best way to do it. Different ways will give you different results.
Is that explicitly spelled out in the game, or is that something you discover?
That's something you discover. We're very keen on you exploring options in the game in that way, not feeling like you have to play it a set way. I'm very big on customization.
Right.
It's our fans $60 that they're putting down for this game, and as much as possible, I want to let them play the way that they want to play, and not the way that I prescribe that it must be played.
I'm getting a lot of questions from the audience about multiplayer. What can you tell us?
Okay, so there's going to be a full co-op campaign and team deathmatch, 12-player team deathmatch at the moment. The co-op mode is a little bit unusual. There's a lot of backstory we have about the network and the target that we can't really tell when we're following Jackson's story, because we want it to be all about him. It's not that we want to keep that stuff secret, it's just, it doesn't fit with his arc. So when you play in co-op, you'll be playing through the same parts of the world, but you'll be doing it before or after Jackson was there, and playing as a more generic target or network asset. And therefore we can tell a little bit more about the story of those two organizations.
Sort of flesh out the world a little bit.
Flesh out the world, yeah. They're not big secrets there or anything, it just fills out that space.
Okay. So that's co-op, and then deathmatch.
Team deathmatch. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. We're working on that at the moment. And Intel is proving quite interesting in that. The Intel drop still happens in Team Deathmatch. Everyone starts with 1,000 Intel, and that's locked. That's as much Intel as there is in the world. So when somebody's scooped up, 3,000 to 4,000 Intel, they become a bit of a target.
Right.
And if that guy's on your side, you kind of want to protect him.
Yeah.
And the way the upgrade system works on your character, you can increase the range at which you can draw Intel into yourself.
Oh, okay.
So we've had a situation where there's a guy on the top floor of the Medi-Center building of this compound we're in now, and the Intel's all scooping up to him, right? And you can see, the Intel's all going up to this point up there. That's where that guy is, right? You start homing in on him, and the other members of the team that guy's on protect him, right, and hold them off and try and scoop up the rest of the Intel that's been dropped there. You'll be able to call in, you'll be able to use that intel then in the game. We just saw a cycle tank character, I think, floating around there. So he's a guy that you're going to be able to call in when you're playing multiplayer and use and deploy on your side, as well as airstrikes from little bird helicopters and such like.
So when I'm in a multiplayer match and I've amassed 3,000 or 4,000 intel,
yeah.
and I can call in an airstrike.
You can call an airstrike. You can call in a cycle tank. There he is there.
Okay.
Yeah, and have him as an ally on your side against the opposition.
Until he's killed. All right, well, there's a lot to this game, Stuart. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good news. Well, thank you so much. The question we have, of course, is when's this game coming out?
It's going to be out in the spring of next year on the PS3 and on the 360.
All right, Stuart Black, thank you so much. Bodycount coming in the spring on all the major consoles. Appreciate you being here. GameSpot's live coverage of E3 2010 will continue very soon. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Majin in just a couple of minutes.